we're getting questions that are coming in. So Jeremy, it is going to be releasing a 5-book series. First book is coming out in November, his very first book. So if it's his first book, what ideas do you have for somebody who's launching their very first book? Because, as we said, Michael, the more books you have out, the easier, you can decide which ones to focus on. But at this point, he does need to let people know about the book. So thoughts on book launch for book number 1?
Yeah, I would still market it, but I would also continue to market it when you release books 2 and 3. So it can be really, so I fell into this trap with my first few books. I put 100% of my resources and energy and time into my first few books because I thought if I could just do that, then the book will blow up and, I can make 6 figures and everything will be good. But sometimes most of the time, I should say, that doesn't happen. So if you've just got one book, readers are going to want to see multiple books in the series. There will be some readers who buy it, and you should get as many of those readers as you can. But every book you release, the series has more value. So what you may find is that once you're, say, 3 books in, that it's a lot easier to run ads, and your ads might be more profitable when you do that. So I'm not saying not to market that first book. I just think you temper your expectations and just keep going and get those next book out as soon as possible.
Mark or Bernadette, anything to add to that?
When you do have a series coming out, and especially if you already have 5 of them written, if you already have them.
Oh, you froze, Bernadette. On a cliffhanger. It froze. I know. Okay. Oh, Bernadette, you froze. I'm going to have Mark answer, and then we'll come back to you.
Yeah, I like to, it's hard if you've only got one book out to think about the long term, but I just want to remind you of the long term. You've already written other books, release them at the schedule at which you are comfortable with, because you don't want to make a promise to your readers that you're not going to be able to deliver on. If the readers expect that, like Michael, you're going to put out 3 books a month or whatever the case, or you know what I mean, that's fine. He's able to do that because he's really proficient at time management. If you're not able to do that in the long term, you could burn yourself out. And I worry more about that. I'd rather you have a long-term writing career so you can satisfy your readers in a long term. And yes, it is so tempting to market that first book. And you know what? Go ahead and market that first book. But again, don't put all your eggs and don't put all of your energy there, because like Michael said, the spending $100 on marketing book 1 in a 3-book series, there's going to be a better tail payoff for that long-term series. But you may want to do some small marketing experiments, make some mistakes, break a few eggs, learn from those mistakes, because then once books 2 and books 3 come out, you understand, oh, I'll try this again. It worked well. I'm not going to do this other thing. It didn't work for me. But then obviously the money you invest when you have the other books out are going to obviously kind of potentially have the benefit of paying off better and more quickly than just marketing that first book. And there, I just bought some time for Bernadette to continue her cliffhanger.
Yes.
I'm like,
Yes.
I don't even know what you heard. Somebody called and it blew me out. It took my internet. Okay.
So just start over and
start over. I think I was saying, if you're in that position where you do have a series and you already have 5 books written, that's an awesome place to be. So take that first chapter of the next book and put it in the back of your first book. So that gives them something to go, oh, okay, there is something already coming, and they have it tangible. They've read some of it, but give those some dates. Make sure you're going to release those on a normal schedule so that you can tell people book 1 here. And like they're saying, you have to promote that book 1 over and over and over, because it sells book 2 and book 3. But make sure that they know that book 2 is coming out in 6 months or a year or whatever. We don't want those dangling, a series just hanging out there. If you can do that, and it also helps you to keep writing. So maybe you get to book 5, you need to already have a plan for book 6 and put that into your marketing as well. That's part of book 6 will be out here. That gives you a timeline too to get that book done.
And I think one of the most important things you can do with that first book is make sure you have a sign up for your newsletter. in the back of that first book, so that you can capitalize on the readers that you get from those initial marketing efforts, and you can let them know directly when book 2 comes out. And that's especially important if you are not on a rapid release. I mean, if you're going to release a book every few weeks, or, you know, once a month or twice a month, you know, that you should still build your list. But if you're somebody that takes longer to write your books, then the list is really important.